So last night I went on a late night walk and I was talking to God. I was praying for, things over myself that I need Him to move in, praying for people connected to me in my life, praying for this country and people all over the world. And as I'm praying, I'm not really at peace. And in the sort of moments between me praying, my mind is still racing, still stressing about things that are fully in His control, things in my life that I want to plan and reason through. And so I kept trying to say, okay, put those thoughts away. I'm going to listen to God. I'm going to be quiet and listen to God. And that's a very healthy thing to do, to be internally quiet and externally quiet and just have that space to listen to God. And your mind might run off, and then as you come back, you'll see a random pot in somebody's window, and God will be speaking something really cool to you and using imagery with things around you. And so I was in a place where I have these thoughts running and I'm stressing, and then as I'm walking, I'm like, let me be quiet and not think anything and sit with God. And then in my not thinking anything, I'm like, wow, this is cool. There's all kinds of kind of bugs and trees and this whole world and stuff. But then in trying to think nothing, I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then I kind of zone back out and those thoughts roll again about something different, or just thinking through some random video game and not being present, right? And so then usually as it happens, when I get to where I'm going to turn around to start walking back home a ways out, there's usually some kind of revelation or newfound peace in what I'm praying for. Once I get there, a lot of times praying, and then I'm able to listen on the way back. And so this time, I guess similarly to what I just said, I was just so profoundly aware of what sitting in His presence looks like, because it's not some Buddhist monk idea of no thoughts and being completely empty and sort of achieving this nirvana, but it's the idea of the joy of the Lord is my strength, or understanding that He's over all creation. A verse in Romans and in Job, essentially saying the same kind of thing, that everything that has been created, everything that has been made, declares God's glory and His splendor. It declares the hand of a maker. Because you look at a little raccoon or a tree and you're like, wow, that's awesome. God created that, right? So as I'm walking back, I am sort of profoundly aware of everything that I see is God's design. Everything that I hear is God's design. My whole experience of these senses, of having a body to move through this space with, is all God's design and how He saw fit to put us here, to put me here, right? And so rather than thinking nothing, it was more so a thankfulness that I was sitting in, that I was at peace. Not that I was thinking very much, but just it was easier to be present when I was like, man, God, thank you for that cricket sound. Like, you made that and I'm able to hear it, and that's so cool. And God, thank you for that tree. I can see it and it's over there, and you made it, and that's so cool. Thank you for my body and my legs, that I'm able to move and walk. Like, you made that, and that's so cool. And so it was a very subtle shift from trying to shut my thoughts out to rather fixing my thoughts on the beauty of God's creation, fixing my thoughts on, like, I was quiet and wanted to focus on the world around me but couldn't. But then in being thankful to God for the things around me, it opened my eyes, and I was able to more clearly see the world around me and how absurd it is that God would design all this, that it's all here, that you exist, that there is such beauty around you. And so I always take those sort of things to be a promise from God, because if this life is so short compared to infinite eternity, and God made every atom that makes up everything in not only this planet but the whole universe, and all the microorganisms below us, and at the same time God perfectly set the earth here and created all the stars and solar systems we see, then like, what promise is that to God, from God, that He promises us eternal life in His presence, being able to eternally worship Him and to eternally have that joy and peace with regards to how we view things. So just an encouragement that there are better things coming soon, and to focus on what you have to be thankful for, to focus on what a unique gift it is to exist right now, and how thankful you can be for so many small things that we would never think about, that we would just take for granted, and be maybe a lot of times ashamed almost that we don't have the things that others have.